the Jewelry Design Department at the Fashion Institute of Technology. Going to be doing a quick tutorial for our final project, which will be to make a fashion ring. Talk it through as I build it. Front view, C-plane. Doing my ring bore, not 17 millimeters is fine. Oh, there we go. Didn't have a number lock on. Do my usual ring prep, 2 millimeter offset, move up 4/10 straight. Gives me 1.6 at the bottom, 2.4 at the top. This is going to be a fashion ring, a dome ring. I'm going to want more elevation than that. Not sure what the form of that's going to be yet, but I know I'm going to need more. So I'll split it, and then I'll do a non-uniform scale. Myself something a little more robust. Join these back together. Set actually going to rebuild it so it's a single curve. 36.4 should work. Adjust my seam back to the bottom. Same here. There's my front view. I'm going to bring in a stone to work with. Actually, I think I can use the 9x7 that I had in our other file for the bracelet. So, see if I can. I'm going to need to save this quickly. It may not be in the final version. Let's see. Yes, it is right there. And there we go. It's a pretty serious sized ring for what I want to do. I am considering doing it horizontal. Let me take a look at that. Okay, that's fine. For my particular ring I'm going to do here, I'll do that horizontal. I'm not promising an attractive ring when I'm done here, just to show you with the assignment. Move it up so I have plenty of clearance for the culet. Okay, I need to grab a rim of this. It's going to give me trouble if I do that, so I'm going to extract this surface. Copy is fine. Edge tools, merge edges, duplicate border, and I can delete that because it was simply a copy. Okay, the main aspect of this, besides being a fashion ring, it needs to have a center stone. Stone can be whatever size over 6 millimeters you want. It has to be at least 6. It can be a round, it can be an oval. It can be an emerald cut, it can be a pear cut, a pear shape, a marquee, whatever you want. Okay? The setting we're going to use is called a false bezel. False bezel allows you to create a rim of metal around your stone. It's usually not very bold. It's usually quite subtle. Usually something around 5/10 of a millimeter, 4/10, and I was pretty close there at 0.37. I'll make it 4. Okay. But it's not a bezel that actually sets your stone. It's a visual effect. Okay? So it usually sits a little ways below the girdle of your stone. We'll do a simple extrusion to do a maquette form of this. Okay. And then you can put, then the stone is actually held by prong. Set a C-plane to the top of this. Borrow my prong locations, which I will want to be right here. Put in a sphere. Actually, I need to draw a line perpendicular from this curve. Make sure planar is on. I leave it on all the time when I work. It means that when after my first click, okay, if I don't have planar on, my next click will always go to the C-plane. If I have planar on, the next click will always go planar to the C-plane, which is usually what you expect. So it's usually the more expected route to go. I want this to go perpendicular from curve at that point, which in Rhino only works in an orthographic view. So I went to top. From first point option. I don't have both sides. Okay, I want both sides. Okay, gonna mirror that around. Okay, it's going to allow me to draw my prong. Put in a sphere to determine how big I want the prong to be. I think that's pretty good. Let's find out how big that was. Delete it. Redo. That was 0.9. Okay, let's make it a millimeter. Okay. Going to extrude me a plane so I can set a C-plane to it, name that C-plane. Okay, for some reason it thinks my command is network surface. Huh. And enter is supposed to be set to C-plane. Okay, it's not going to let me use that. They've changed with the latest update. The command name has changed. So, set C-plane, named C-plane. Okay, maybe that's what I want. Okay. Okay, let's waste some time on the tutorial fighting the, I didn't say okay. Oh, I've set it to O. I wonder what O was. Okay. Thank you. Okay. You don't normally have to do a lot of boating with these prongs. They can be fairly straight. You're not going to have a lot of room. They're going to be fairly small. This is also a handmade look. This is not usually a commercial look. So you don't have to bite into the prong. You can bite into the prong a fair amount. Since I would like this to be usable for manufacturing when I'm done, about a third would be okay. I'd like to move the point with it. Okay. I'm going to call that good. Yeah, I really can't go smaller than 1 millimeter. I'd kind of like to, but I can't. Alright. Going to use an arc command. Start in direction. I'm going to go from a point. I'm going to try and follow roughly along the pavilion of my stone. You know, a little looser, but fairly snug in. And I'm going to let it boat a little bit. That's fine. I'm going to extend this 2 millimeters. Oh, I already pre-selected it. It thinks that's a boundary. If you pre-select it, it thinks you're going to use the variation of that command where you're going to use a boundary to extend curves too. I don't want that. If you don't have it pre-selected, it gives you a choice to select a boundary object, which I don't want in this case, or enter an extension length, which I do. I'm going to enter 2 millimeters. Gives you a choice of natural, line, arc, or smooth. I want natural. Okay. See how that's curving back in on the stone? I can't have that. So I'll repeat it again. This time smooth. I had that pre-selected again. Extend curve. I want a dynamic extend, so I'll make sure it's set to smooth. Oh, actually I can go natural. And hit enter. That'll allow me to actually drag on the curve. It's going to give me that curve back. Alright, one more time. I want it smooth. Enter to extend. Yes, this will allow me more freedom. I don't want it to come back over the top of the stone. You can go straight, that's okay. But it can't buckle over the top because it has to, the stone has to be able to be set. Okay? I'll rebuild that to my favorite 3-4. It's okay. It's alright. Make a prong. I'm just going to do round wire prong. So that'll be easy. Solid pipe. A diameter, not radius, of 1. Okay. I'll let it taper, actually. So 1, and at the end I'll make it 0.92. That's fine. Remember, we want it to come 0.2 of a millimeter off the top of the table, between 0.2 and 1/4. I want this to go right onto the C-plane, so I'll use project. Move it up. Take a look at what I think. I'll make it 0.25. M enter 0.25 to constrain distance. Shift to constrain direction. Cutting plane. Analyze direction. That's good. Solid difference. I want to round this prong off nicely on top. Set a C-plane to the top of it. Extract surface. Transform scale. Gonna make it nice and tiny. Extract an isocurve. Oh, when I extracted surface, it had copy set. Come on in. 1 second. Sorry, I had a drop in to the office. Okay, continuing. Extract an isocurve a little ways down above the girdle. Trim. Blend surface. Give me a preview. Let's take a look at what same height does. That's fine. You should know that that is a compromise. Actually, for manufacturing, they prefer it square on top. It's easier to push against, and they will dress that off with a tool. But clients, or just to take a look at something, they hate it if it's squared on top. So mirror this around. Okay, so there's the prong aspect. I've decided I would like this to clear those prongs, so I'm going to offset a little bit. It's at 4/10 now. Offset 1/10 of a millimeter. See if that clears the prongs. Put a surface on it. That'll help me see. That's a little too close. Okay, I'll offset at 0.15. Which puts it at 5.5 from the girdle. That'll work. Okay. Do away with that. This will be our new false bezel. At a maquette level. Okay. I want it to follow the pavilion of the stone for a seat inside of there. So get a section of my stone. 0, pull to one side. Section of my bezel. Section 0, pull to one side. Turn off my stone, turn off my false bezel, turn off my prongs. I can lose these curves now. Okay, so I'm going to offset this my 0.15, give it a little bit of relief, see how that looks. That's pretty good. I'm going to draw a curve straight down. Visualize how much of this I want open, how much of I need of this to be a seat to hold my stone. I think that's a good compromise. Join those together. Going to do a revolve around curve. Rail revolve, that's a right click. Select the rail. Axis starts at 0 and pulls straight up like a lathe. And there we have it. Use that to trim out the center. And join these together. Before I join them, I'll explode this, pull that out, take this. Non-uniform scale. Quad. Quad. Nothing in this direction. 1 enter. Grab a quadrant there, and nothing in that direction. Join. Join. Cap. There's the bezel portion. I want a nice fat fillet on this, so maybe 1/2 millimeter. That didn't go nicely. See what the length I have here is. Analyze length of this edge. Okay. It's 1.53, so there's no reason that fillet should have failed. Fillet edge. Oh, I missed the 0.5. There we go. It thought I wanted 5. That would never work. Slip my stone in. It's probably a little too much. 0.4. Better. And the same thing here. Actually, I'll let that one be a little higher. 0.6. So that's the false bezel. These are the prongs. And that's a false bezel setting. When your stone's in place, it's actually held in prongs, but you have the effect of a line of bezel going around. Now these prongs look like they stick way out past the piece, but you have to remember they'll be cut down quite a bit from that. So they'll actually be just about flush with the bezel. It's a nice look. It's a nice way to set up a ring. Okay, that's the first criteria. You got to have a false bezel. Clean up my drawing. So that's the first tutorial, setting up our false bezel. Thanks for watching.